So tomorrow is going to be a very exciting day. I get to pick up one of my dream cars. Looking for this specific car for about 2 years. Finally, the stars aligned to where I think I found the right one. Today, I actually ended up packing all the Save My Life tools we might need on this trip. We are going to California, Southern California, LA. It's roughly 5 hours from Las Vegas, where I'm currently living right now. Kind of grabbed a bunch of tools that, in the worst case scenario, you know, I could patch something on the side of the road or whatever until I get to maybe a safer spot. Or if I'm lucky, I can maybe even make it home without even a single scratch. But you can never be too careful nowadays. So I have as many things as I can think of packed away that could help me on the side of the road, but I'm really just crossing my fingers that this car makes it. If it does, it will be joining the garage of broken dreams right now. A little sneak preview of what's going on with the 8.6. I really hope this is real. I really hope this is legit. I hope this isn't a scam. I hope this isn't somebody gonna try and rob me. Like, we'll see what happens. But I think for now, we got everything packed up tonight, and I think we're gonna continue this on tomorrow morning. So I'll see you then. So that's everything loaded inside the car. It's 4 in the morning. We're leaving for Anaheim, and I'm pretty excited. Woke up pretty fast this morning. So we'll see how she goes. Only a 4-hour road trip ahead of us. See you in a little bit. So about another 540 wagon, and within an hour I found a fuel leak. So address that. It ended up being the locking ring that holds down the cover for the fuel pump. We're gonna go visit some of Daddy's family. We're gonna start heading back home, and then I'll talk to you guys then. Later. It's really weird looking in your rearview mirror and not seeing a window immediately behind the seat. Like, so much room for activities back there. Can't wait to pile a bunch of garbage in there. So the car wouldn't start. Found out it was a bad battery connection. As I was trying to press on the connection just to make it home, I accidentally contacted the positive to the airbag module for the rear airbags and blew the airbags. That's awesome! Yeah, whatever. I guess I'll get some new ones. I want to replace the door panels anyways, so oh well. But now my hearing is a little weird, so fun start to this ownership. Gotta love BMWs. So the car's here. It's at home now. It made it all in one trip. Did have a little bit of hiccup at a gas station one time. Got it kind of figured out and temporarily fixed until I got here. It made it. Like, it didn't really even give it any problems, like major problems. I mean, mechanically it was pretty solid. Little electrical issues here and there, but overall, really stoked. Cannot believe that I finally found an E39 540i Touring for like less than 10 grand. Everybody's asking some astronomical prices for these piles of junk, but clean title, E39 540i Touring, passes California smog. And I picked it up for less than 5 grand. It runs great. Mileage is a little high, I believe. Can't get a complete confirmation on the mileage because the pixels in the dash are bad. I am setting out the dash. It's part of the project today. Is I'm gonna set out the dash or the gauge cluster to best pixel repair and have him work his magic and get it running again, so I can actually get a confirmation on the mileage as well as read, you know, all the things that need to be fixed, because it'll flash all the warnings when you first start up to tell you, you know, hey, light bulb's bad, or hey, this isn't working right, or whatever. But no check engine lights. No like mechanical hiccups. Transmission works great. Engine sounds healthy, and so I'm really excited. I'm genuinely like stoked. It's something I've been looking for about 5 years, and I finally found one, and I finally have one in my possession. Am I super stoked on the color choice or whatever? No, but overall the condition isn't terrible. There's some issues with it, but the first thing I want to do is actually wash this thing and actually get it clean, and so we can really address, you know, and really look at everything I need to order this week, so next weekend we can actually really work on it, get everything all hooked up and cleaned up, and then we'll get back to it. So the reason why I chose the 540i wagon instead of a 528 is because the BMW 540i's are a 4.4 liter dual overhead cam single Vanos V8. Unfortunately, the wagons, as far as I've done any research, the wagons in the US market for the 540 only came automatic, which does suck. You know, I do miss having a third pedal that I can drive often, but having a V8 is something that I've been missing. I've always loved 540s. And the M62 is a great engine, and it's really easy to work on. Like, a lot of people, they kind of overcomplicate everything, and you know, it does look a little overwhelming in this engine bay. It's a big V8 with a bunch of crap around it. It's really easy to kind of pick apart certain things, and especially the front clip of the car is actually really easy to pull off. I mean, it's like, you know, 2 bolts for the headlights. I think there's one more, or maybe it's just the clips for the trim pieces. 2 bolts each side, pull those off. The bumper is actually 2 bolts underneath. It's a couple clips for just the under tray that connects to the front bumper, and then from there, I mean, you know, pulling the radiator and everything, it's just a matter of pulling this whole clip off, which once you pull the bumper off, there's like 4 bolts and everything, and then everything just kind of comes off all altogether. Remove everything that's kind of quick detach, undo that, pull the hose off. You know, if it hasn't been sitting forever, you can just kind of wiggle the hose off after you drain the coolant and everything. And then basically the whole front of the engine is completely exposed, making it really easy to work on if you're stuck inside the car. But I mean, at least as far as the manuals, pulling the engine out is pretty easy as far as, you know, yanking, you know, detaching all the bolts for the transmission, and then just kind of yanking it off. Automatics, obviously you got to work a little harder for it to undo the torque converter and stuff, but all in all, it's a pretty easy engine to work on. I've never had a problem working on them. I've always enjoyed like the kind of ingenuity that kind of comes with, you know, pulling everything off, putting it back on really quickly. Everything is kind of self-explanatory, and I really enjoy that. I've been missing having a V8 in my life, and I can't wait to actually work on this. So one day this will become a manual. I don't know if the S62 is going to go in at the same time, or if I'm just going to do a basic manual swap for now. I think I'm leaning more towards the S62 side because I believe, well, I just pulled out the gauge cluster, but I believe this engine or car, this whole chassis has about 180 to 190,000 miles on it already. I can't get an exact number because obviously, as you guys saw, the cluster, you know, the pixels are all destroyed. This will get an S62 eventually, which is the same generation M5 engine. When that happens, I don't know. I'm not exactly sure. For now, I'm just gonna drive it, do some maintenance on it. There will be a future episode where I kind of fix up a couple things here and there that aren't super expensive to replace, showing you guys kind of how easy this engine is to work on. And then maybe do the engine mount, stuff like that, and at the same time do the valve cover gaskets, since the engine will be lower and it'll be a lot easier to access some of the bolts and stuff. You know, spark plugs, etc., etc. This thing will get a tune-up here eventually. You got to order all the stuff to do that. Valve cover gaskets, spark plugs, filters, stuff like that, and do an oil change. But I just wanted to show you guys the actual engine of this car and the reason why I bought the 540 instead of like a 528 or a 530 touring, because I eventually want to do an S62, and this is the perfect car to do it in. So it's the extent of the 540 now. So now that we got the exterior of the car all clean and everything, I really want to start working on the interior. There are some things that definitely need to be cleaned on it, like the carpet and stuff. I also can start addressing certain issues that I found. This is part of the interior, one of the trim pieces for the glass that goes between the hatch and the glass, because I didn't know that on a wagon you can actually open the glass itself on the hatch. The shocks are okay, probably replace those when I start addressing some of the headliner stuff, and also I need to take a look at the sunroof because that doesn't work. This piece goes right here, and it doesn't really want to stay right now, so I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to get it in there and then close it and then keep the glass closed until I get a replacement piece. Oh, there we go. Maybe, okay, just stay. Okay, so, damn it. Like that, just like that. Okay, so it stayed enough, okay. So on the way home, one of the issues that I had was that I pulled over, got some gas. When I went to go start the car afterwards, to start heading back because we were at the halfway point, power died on the car. As soon as I hit the ignition to start it, it just killed all power. And and just because of my experience over the years, I knew exactly what it was. Like, oh, it's a bad connection on the battery. The problem was, there's on a wagon, at least as far as I know, there's no key slot for the key to open it manually with the power off. So I had to crawl through here, I had to fold the seats down, which is really cool about wagons. Pulled the seats down, crawled over, opened up this panel, which had a screw in it. It was really janky, and I want to fix that too. And of course, the factory Nokia subwoofer thingy was in the way. And with that, I couldn't actually get to the battery, and I also couldn't pull this off because I couldn't access most of my tools. And I was kind of in a rush because I was at the pump, people were trying to pull in behind me, and it kind of sucked. But I did notice that this terminal was loose, and so in the process of trying to hit it downwards and try to get a better connection, I don't know why they put a bolt here, because it doesn't help it. In the process of doing that, I actually broke a little connector for this guy. I don't know how this is supposed to connect to the positive terminal, but it was on the front of here. Me not knowing what it was, I probably should have taken an educated guess, judging the fact that it is yellow. Now I should have said, oh, it's for the airbags, and I don't know if these are supposed to touch or anything. They look like they're supposed to be separated. Contacted these to the positive side of the terminal just to see what it was, and I blew the rear airbags, which was really loud. It smelled really bad in here for a little bit. Just the rears, not the fronts. As you can see, the fronts are not blown. The airbag isn't blown. The steering wheel isn't blown, sides aren't blown, curtains aren't blown, which is good. It did bullet the rears. And so now, I mean, I don't know what's going on with the module. I don't know what that exactly that connector was for. I'm gonna, do some research tonight and figure it out. But I do have to, unfortunately, replace these rear airbags, which sucks. But they're pretty common to get on the E39s, I'd assume. So for now, what we're gonna do is we're actually going to cut out this airbag right here. Try to cut out as much as we can so we can put this panel back where it belongs for the time being until we do get a replacement airbag. I might take this time to maybe start sourcing some of the door panels and seats and stuff like that, because the factory seats are just destroyed. This part isn't too bad, but this part has a giant hole, which I don't like. The panels now have had the airbags deployed, as well as the fronts. This one isn't too terrible, but it's bad enough for me to want to replace it. But the driver's seat is absolutely destroyed. So I think I'm gonna start trying to source the seats and interior colors that I want, which is black. I want to do black on black, because every E39 I've had has had gray interior, minus my first one, which was tan, and I don't really want a tan on silver car, so I really like black. Keep the silver. I don't think I want to change the outside color, even though it needs a new paint job pretty bad. But I need to get all this kind of figured out in the process. So that blew the airbags in the rear, and so that's kind of how that happened. But it did get me home. Mechanically, as far as engine and all that, it ran great, never overheated, even on the uphill with the AC on, never gave me a problem. AC blows super cold, no weird sounds in the engine, minus a small exhaust leak, which I already know is probably the exhaust manifold, because I used brass nuts for the exhaust manifold, and it probably stretched out and heated up over time and probably backed off. So that probably needs addressing. When I start doing some stuff mechanically, I'll probably take care of that at the same time. I really want to clean this up because this carb was filthy. I mean, the outside wasn't too bad, but it was bad enough to where, like, I was almost embarrassed driving it. There is a lot of body damage. Looks like this thing was sideswiped, so I don't know if you can see all the little checker points. I'm gonna try to buff this out later, because it doesn't look like it's actually dented, but it does have a bunch of paint and stuff. There's a small dent below the door there, a couple dents here and there, but there's a lot of like little scratches and stuff, which I'm not too worried about. But this quarter panel was definitely terrible. I will have to probably paint all of this, but if I do that, I'll probably end up painting the whole exterior of the car, because all the doors handles are faded. There's a bunch of cracks and chunks missing out of the paint from, the seatbelt hanging out, people closing it on it. I mean, it definitely can use some work, but all in all, this paint job isn't terrible. The clear coat isn't completely destroyed, but it's pretty much there, especially in certain spots like this, as well as the roof. The roof isn't the greatest. They definitely were not kind to it. And hands down, the hood is just destroyed. Clear coat is still okay, but there are some major scratches in the paint, and then as soon as you hit it with water, this thing shines up, and as soon as it dries, you can tell, because it's just flat. There's zero reflection. And then there's a nice big dent in the hood here, which I could fix, probably will fix. There's not too many dents in the hood, but somebody has definitely been standing on this thing or something, because you can hear all the reinforcement points underneath are just gone. So something has definitely been on this hood. It's definitely not what it's supposed to do. But all in all, the bumper's getting replaced. I'm not too worried about the damage on the front or the rear. I'm not too worried about those at all. Body-wise, it's not terrible. I mean, for under $5,000, I mean, I'm not really complaining. And it has some cool features that I've never experienced in an E39. This is my fourth E39 540i. Actually, my fourth BMW, my fourth E39, my fourth 540, everything but my first wagon. I didn't expect these backup sensors to work until I started backing in the driveway. And I hear beeping, and I started freaking out. And I was like, oh my God, this thing has backup sensors. That's awesome. And they work. They work really well. All the little functions actually work really well. All the windows rolled down, no problem. I don't know about the sunroof. I tried moving it, but I think either the switch is disconnected or a fuse is blown. I'm not sure. When I did move this, it did make some kind of crunching noise in the back, but actually it sounds good now. It doesn't sound terrible. It doesn't get stuck like a broken cassette or anything. So there might be some hope with the sunroof. But this absolutely does not work. I will probably remove this while I'm cleaning all this headliner, because this is destroyed. I think I'm gonna try to see what's going on with this up here. I don't know if they disconnected because maybe it did get stuck and they were destroying it and they were like, you know what, screw it, and they disconnected it so it wouldn't break. I don't know, but it's kind of on the list. The main thing is today, I gotta get this gauge cluster out. I have to. Before I register it in Nevada, I really wanna know what the mileage is on it. The pixels are absolutely dead. I don't know how much you can see. I can see a 1, I can see a 5, and then that, and I just don't know. I'm pretty sure that's a 9 or a 6, or it could just be me reading off. But I do know that this thing on the pink slip said 108,000 miles, but that was in 2008. So I'm assuming that this thing probably has been driven, because it definitely looks like it has been driven a lot. I now want to clean up the interior. I don't want to go too crazy right now because I do have some other things I need to do before tomorrow, and I'll probably slowly clean this up during the week. But I just want to give you guys like a really good solid start as to what's going on with the new car. As far as future plans, I do have a set of wheels that I want to put in here. Tight. Okay, well now I gotta clean up some sockets. I forgot this isn't like my socket set at work. I actually need to lock this one and close it before grabbing the handle. And I'm just gonna lose a bunch of sockets now. Take apart the interior, go find them all. Let's play Easter egg hunter. This is just my luck with everything. Like, you guys see all the positive stuff I have on my Instagram, my Facebook, and stuff like that, but man, I had like the weirdest luck. Like, yeah, I scored a 540i touring for less than 5 grand, but I'm gonna make up for it in some way or another. Like, yeah, I got a good deal now, but I'm definitely gonna get screwed. I already know it. But this is a dream car of mine. I am willing to pay that price, and it's definitely a fun vehicle. I don't know what the hell this even goes to. Maybe a spare tire? I think it's a spare tire. So there's a lot about the 540 I didn't know. Like, I didn't know about the hatch glass or anything like that. I didn't know the guy who sold to me actually showed me this because I had no idea about it. And really, I mean, it says right there, but still it kind of tripped me out. And the 540's touring is pretty cool because it has a little table that slides out. That's pretty neat. You can strap stuff down and actually hold it, as well as, like, you know, you fold the seats down, you know, now it's got a nice little setup for that, but nice solid wood in there. I kind of want to take all this out and take a look at all of it. I don't know how exactly you take this out. Maybe you just pull it one way or another, or, oh, okay. Yeah, so just like a little angle, and you pull it out, which is cool because now I can scrub this outside of the car because it is filthy. It is nasty. I do see a spare tire, which is nice. I don't know how these come out. I think they're just in the screw, maybe. Rotate, one turn. Oh, that's cool. So matching full-size spare, which isn't really that impressive because it is a 16, so I don't really care about that. But most of the, well, one of the tools is there. I guess I'll have to try and source the rest of the toolkit. I don't know if this one, yeah, this one doesn't have a toolkit on it. Wait, maybe it does. Oh, it does. Okay, cool. I think it's all there. There's something missing right here. Oh, there's something missing right here too. I might have that still. But I don't know what this is for. I'll have to figure that one out. I need to figure out what that is. I need to get that. I do have the pliers, which is cool. I would love to get the little triangle that goes in the reflective triangle. I could probably buy that new though, so I'm not too worried about that. I just like probably buy all of it new. But that's pretty sweet. I didn't know that. Go to your home. Too good for your home? There we go. 1. Oh, there we go. Okay, 2. All right. So at least that's all there. It looks like there is something missing here, like a piece of trim. Definitely a trim piece missing. That's okay. I want to swap all of it out to a different color anyways. But that's pretty exciting. I kind of didn't know what was going on. I think that's where the air compressor is. Maybe. That looks like it might be it. But there's still a lot I need to learn about the wagons. You know, I know a lot about, you know, the sedans just because I own 3 of them. I know a decent amount about them. Maybe not so much the European stuff, but I do know about the US market, E39s, and someone's got some pretty cool options that I've never had in an E39 before, including heated seats. I've owned 3 E39s and not a single one had heated seats, and it really made me upset because I've always wanted heated seats in an E39. And now that I have it, all I gotta do is I can swap any heated seat in here, including M5, and I'll have heated seats. I might have to maybe jump a pin or 2 in the connectors, but that makes me really excited. Also,
don't know if you guys saw this earlier. I have a phone! Granted, the charging port has been cut and this bracket is definitely destroyed, so it doesn't actually hold it or anything. So maybe I could find that and clean up this phone, maybe take it apart and clean it out and shine it up. And I would love to actually keep that in there, get maybe a new whole center console because this one's destroyed. I'd love to keep that in there just because that's cool, but it also doesn't move, which sucks. It's kind of stuck there. I'd love to get the little retractor back working on this guy, so I can actually have a cover, and then slowly swap out all the wood trim and get some different colors in there. For today, I'm just gonna remove the cluster and get that sent out tomorrow so we can get that taken care of, and we'll go from there. Actually, there is one other thing that I forgot to mention. There's no way I'm keeping this thing stock, but I do have a set of wheels from my old E39 I had in California that will eventually make its way onto this car, and I kept them for that reason. I think that looked pretty sweet. Hey, beautiful, how you doing? Oh yeah. Oh, that's sweet. I mean, granted, you can see the really ugly, disgusting wheels behind them. I'm trying to use my imagination here, and I'm excited, man. I've loved wagons and E39s for so many years, and on top of that, I got my dream wheels, which is the T37 SLs. They're gonna look really good on here. I think even without it lowering, I think they're gonna look really good. Obviously, it will get lowered, and we're pretty good for now. The only problem is, as you can see from probably the tread, that these are obviously opposite directional because these are both the rears. I don't have the fronts because I only bought the rears because I already had a full set of E37s before on my old E39, and I took the rears off of that set, put them on the front, and then bought these, put them on the rear. So I actually had a 9.5 up front and a 10.5 in the rear, and now I gotta go order another set of 9.5s. The cool part is compared to last time, when I had these on a E39, these were two totally different generations and styles of TE37s, whereas now I can actually order these exact ones in 9.5 and they will be matching. The only other shitty part is that as soon as I get them, I gotta do the same thing I did to these, which is break down all the clear coat and scotch brite them off and then polish them just like I did with these. That took probably a couple hours, but you know, hey, it looks really good, and they're got a little unique touch to them because these come machined like you see in the center. They're not truly polished, they're actually just machined and then clear coated. I'm guessing with like a clear coat, powder coat or something. So I gotta do that when I get the fronts. But for now, this is a very good motivational picture in my head that I can now visualize and be really excited about. Now on top of that, M Sport bumpers, a good tint, suspension, and then eventually exhaust. I don't want to be that guy with a stock car with a loud exhaust, so that'll be a time for later. I'm liking what I'm seeing, and especially in a wagon, which is really cool. So take some photos for Instagram and Facebook, and then I guess you guys will have to stay tuned and be updated. If you guys have any comments or anything about the car, and if you guys have any like experience with wagons, or maybe there's some things I don't know, like, you know, some unique things about wagons, I'd love to know. If you're a wagon owner, a touring owner, shout out to you guys, Goon Squad. You know, I've always wanted a wagon, and now I finally have one of my dream cars. I know it doesn't look like much now, but it will later. If you guys like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you guys are new, because we got all kinds of project cars. And we'll be having an update on the 510 here pretty soon. Got some major progress done on that. They kind of got put on hold when I found the 540. Just bear with me, but I couldn't say no to this deal. But anyways, guys, we'll catch you on the flip side. Thanks for watching. See you soon.